Hey, welcome to Board with Life News for January 28th. Today I'm going to talk about an expansion for Camel Up, a reprint of El Grande, a new game coming from the designers of Tzolk'in, as well as the Kickstarter for Tiny Epic Galaxies. Let's get right to it. Hey, I'm Chris. Welcome to Board with Life News. As far as Board with Life News goes, we released a bit yesterday for Tiny Epic Kingdoms, which is the first game in the Tiny Epic line that Tiny Epic Galaxies is now on Kickstarter. Tomorrow we're going to release, I think, the 15th episode of our D&D podcast, which is kind of crazy because that's a lot, maybe 14th, but a lot of episodes, and that's us playing through the Lost Mines of Phandelver storyline. Other news with our podcast. Donald announced on the podcast, but if you don't listen, we're going to, once we finish Lost Mines of Phandelver, we've got several episodes left before that's done, but we're going to restart in a custom campaign with new characters and stuff. It'll be mostly the same players and everything, but Donald's designing a custom D&D campaign, and with that, we're also going to be starting a different podcast channel that has us playing other podcasts. Sometimes it's going to be Board of Life people, sometimes it's going to be voice actors, it's going to be a bunch of different people, but it's going to be that kind of thing, so you can hear us playing a bunch of different RPGs, which will be pretty cool. We're doing a mailbag episode of our D&D podcast, so if you have any questions you want to ask any of the people on the podcast about D&D, about their characters, about whatever, definitely tweet at us or post on Facebook or comment below or whatever, so that we can read those, and then we will do just a fun mailbag podcast of them, and that'll be good. Alright, on to board game news. Last year's Spiel des Jahres winner, Camel Up, is getting its first expansion, and it is called Camel Up Super Cup. It's going to have 4 new modules for use with the original Camel Up game. No idea what that means. And it's going to expand to allow for 10 players, because, you know, everybody was complaining that 8-player Camel Up wasn't hectic and insane enough, and so it'll just be crazier. To celebrate the 20th anniversary of El Grande, Hans im Gluck has announced that they will be releasing a Big Box edition. This is going to be a giant box that has the base game as well as every expansion, Grand Inquisitor Colonies, Grandissimo, King and Intrigue Players Edition, and King and Intrigue Special Cards. Z-Man has already confirmed that they'll be releasing this in America, so that's great. This game's been out of print for a little while, so it's kind of, you know, getting the thing where people are selling it on eBay for a lot of money, and if you're a board game fan, you know that games like El Grande aren't going to stay out of print forever, so just hold your horses, play a different game for a little while, and you can buy it at normal retail price. So this is exciting news. I'm really happy about that. I wouldn't mind if they brought like just the regular El Grande game, not the big box back in print, because the big boxes are just so cumbersome to have on shelves, and honestly, I don't play a lot of games enough to need, like 6 or 7 expansions. Like, I can usually get by with 1 or 2. But all that being said, I'm excited this is coming back in print. We also got news of a new game called Auf die Spuren von Marco Polo, which I think means the travels of Marco Polo. And I acted like I knew that and thought it out of my brain. You know how you think of things out of your brain. But actually, I Google translated that. So I don't speak any German, in case you couldn't tell by my horrible pronunciation always. Anyways, there's very little info about this game. The only reason I'm talking about it is because it's made by the guys that made Tzolk'in, the Mayan calendar, which was a game from, I think, 2012, and that game was crazy. It was awesome. It had moving gears. It was a crazy brain burner. People won't play it with me because it takes too long. You know, my turns take too long. Super analysis paralysis game, but very novel, very interesting, very good game. So this is by them, and they're going to be dice in it. And I like dice in my Euro games a lot. I like seeing how luck is mitigated on dice in Euro games. So I'm very excited about this. No word on American release or title or anything like that, but still excited about it, so I'll keep you posted. The Kickstarter for this week is for Tiny Epic Galaxies. This is by Scott Alms. It's his 3rd in the Tiny Epic series, with Tiny Epic Kingdoms and Tiny Epic Defenders. These are all micro games. I don't know if they're micro games. That definition kind of gets broad. And they're pocket-sized games, but in reality, they're pocket-sized in the way original Game Boys were pocket-sized, where they... I mean, if you wear Jinko jeans or cargo pants, you can fit it in a pocket, I guess. Basically, they are these very small 4X games, which 4X games, like Twilight Imperium and stuff, are usually these huge, massive games, and these are these tiny little ones that you can carry around. There's a whole lot of game packed into a very small box. It's got custom dice that come with it, wonderful little wooden bits and spaceships and stuff, and it only costs $16. So if you're interested in that, hop on over to Kickstarter and back it. Alright, that's the news for this week. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, all that stuff. Go subscribe to our iTunes for our podcasts and everything. Just go in the description, just click away. Just frantically click until you feel fulfilled in your life, because that's what we're all about. This week's question comes from Jan England via Twitter, and they ask, have your game tastes changed over the years? And the answer is yes, they have. I don't know if I would use the word change, but they've certainly evolved or grown. They haven't really changed because I still like all the games I liked when I first got into gaming. And those were, of course, more thematic games. I really liked Battlestar Galactica, Formula D, Robo Rally, things like that, Fury of Dracula. Those kind of games are what got me into games, and then I kind of discovered Euro games more, and worker placement games, and I got really into stuff like Agricola and Steffenfeld, and all that type of stuff. And then, after I got, for a couple of years, into kind of really heavy, brain-burny Euro games, I got into really easy-to-teach, really quick, small, clever games. Games like Sushi Go, or No Thanks, or I don't know, a lot of them. I mean, even stuff like Ticket to Ride that a lot of people get into early. I didn't really get into it when I was first getting into games. I kind of got into it more recently just because these really simple ideas that are kind of really awesome. And now, I'm just kind of into all of that. I really like having the right game for the right occasion. I like social deduction games. I like everything, mostly, as long as it's good. I certainly lean more towards Euro games and strategy games and worker placement games than Ameritrash or thematic games, but I still like them all, and if they're good, I want to play them. So yeah, that's that question. Alright, thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you next week.